What's up, people? Welcome back to the channel. Okay, I hope everyone had a happy holidays. I'm done with all the festivities over here. Finally, I can get back to normal-ish schedule. We still got the New Year's coming up, so we still got some partying to do. But for now, let's go ahead and get back to the grind here. I wanna continue with my series of the series. I guess I'll continue calling it "It Can Do That Too," which is pretty much um a series of cards that are primarily known for one effect, but they also have a secondary effect that's either really good or just there, and no one really, like, either sometimes you don't remember or you don't realize, like, oh yeah, it does have that effect, blah blah blah. A lot of these are straightforward. I'm not claiming that I'm picking any cards that people really didn't know about, because eventually I do want to deep dive into some really crazy effects. But for now, just kind of keep them more a little lighthearted. And we're going to start off this iteration with Elemental Hero STRATOS. So everyone knows what STRATOS does. STRATOS is primarily known for adding a hero monster from your deck to your hand, but its first effect, like adding a hero to its hand, is its second effect, and that's the effect that it's mostly known for. Its first effect is destroy spell and trap cards on the field up to the number of hero monsters you control except this card. That effect is very rarely used. There probably was a couple of instances, maybe back in the GX era, where it was useful, but to be honest, this card's main effect is to add a hero from your deck to your hand. And it's to the point where whenever you have a searcher for the deck, it is called the Stratos of the deck, just because this card is just synonymously known with searching. So the fact that it has a freaking MST like effect on top of that, I could consider this a forgotten effect, considering that people mainly know this card for simply searching, although it's very obvious a lot of people know about its second effect. The second card that I want to add to this list of cards is number 41, Bagusa, the Terribly Tired Taper. Now, everyone understands that this is one of the best rank 4 floodgates that you could play, so we're going to go to Reed's effect. Once per turn during your standby phase, detach one material from this card. If you cannot, destroy it. Everyone knows about that. This attack position card cannot be destroyed by opponent's card effects. Your opponent cannot target this attack position card with card effects. That is the effect that not a lot of people actually know about. People usually don't know for this. People usually only know Baguska for this effect. Let's see. When this card is in face-up defense position, change all face-up monsters on the field to defense position. Also negate the activated effects of monsters that were in defense position that were in defense position when that effect was activated. I don't worry, guys. I play Yu-Gi-Oh! And I have trouble reading. So yeah, a lot of people simply associate this card with its floodgate effect, but that is actually its second effect. Its first effect prevents it from being destroyed. There are a lot of scenarios where you could put this in defense mode and then switch into attack mode and try to get more aggressive to, like, kind of play around things. Every once in a while, sometimes, like, that first effect kind of comes into play, but like the rest of these cards, it is mostly known for just that second effect. So for the third card that I'm adding on this list is Thunder King RAI-OH. Now, I'm having this weird, like, deja vu moment if I added Thunder King RAI-OH on this list before. I'm pretty sure I haven't, but I'm extremely busy and I really wanted to get this video out. So for the sake of it all, we are adding Thunder King RAI-OH back in there. Not a lot of people know this about Thunder. Like, okay, I shouldn't say not a lot of people, but if you're someone who probably plays, like, Master Duel, or maybe you just heard people talk about this card, Thunder King RAI-OH is one of, like, the OG good floodgate monsters. It has the effect where neither player can add cards from their deck to their hand except drawing them. So essentially, you are not searching cards; you are only drawing cards. And in an era of Yu-Gi-Oh where adding cards, searching was just the way you play. Thunder King RAI-OH shut down. To this day, will shut down a lot of decks. There's a lot of decks that like to add cards, and just having a Thunder King RAI-OH on the field is really devastating to them. Now, here's another effect that a lot of people really forget about. This is like a truly forgotten effect. During either player's turn, when your opponent would special summon a monster, you could send this face-up card to the graveyard, negate the special summon, and destroy it. So this has caused a little bit of like a ruling confusion. A lot of people think just whenever there's a special summon, it only stops in inherit special summon monsters. So If you're using like a Monster Reborn to bring a monster back, it's not gonna negate that, but it will negate it if you like summon Cyber Dragon. It can negate a Cyber Dragon if you go for a Synchro or a Link or a XYZ. You know, any of those will it could just tribute stuff to negate it. And a lot like not a lot of people forget about that. I've actually lost games. Like there's about a 2.5 year period where I just played pure border stun. And one of the first things you learn is that you will lose games if you do not remember that your Thunder King RAI-OH can negate inherit summons. There's times where you're like, you have one back row and one RAI-OH, and you really feel like that RAI-OH is keeping you in the game and you don't want to get rid of it, but you just don't know how valuable it is to sit there and be able to tribute, go have your opponent waste 3 cards to go into one big monster and you just tribute 1 to get rid of it. It is a really good effect, and some people really forget about it, especially newer stun players. Alright, so for the 4th card I'm going to add to this list is Divine Arsenal AA Zeus Sky Thunder. This card is very, very popular. Everyone knows it. It board wipes. You detach 2, and it board wipes. You're allowed to summon it over an XYZ monster that attacks, and then it board wipes. So I'm not gonna focus really on that effect. All right, what I would like to focus on is this. Is the second. Is the I guess the third effect. Once per turn, if another cards you control is destroyed by a battle or an opponent's card effect, you can attach 1 card from your hand, deck, or extra deck to this card as material. To this day, there is times where I am in these intense game states and I just completely forget that I could do this, and then I realize that, man, if I would have not have, if I would have remembered, I could have got an extra Zeus activation. This, right, just that little extra line, especially because a lot of people just assume it as, like they just assume that this is just going to be their out. I'm going to just send everything, and then I'm going to chain it onto this, and that. They just usually think of it as that, and they get this tunnel vision where they're constantly focused on what this card is going to do for me by sending other cards, and they completely forget that, hey, if for some reason your opponent gets around the first, like if your opponent has more fodder and they destroy something, you could add more stuff. So there have been situations and are situations that are going to come up in my dueling career and your dueling career and your dueling lifetime, whatever it is to you, that effect will be useful, and yeah, you should really keep an eye out for that. And the last card that I wanted to add on this list is Black Garden. I have a very funny, hilarious, well, I mean, maybe it's not funny to some people, but I do have a funny story regarding Black Garden with, like back when I first got back into Yu-Gi-Oh! After high school, and I remember this guy came to my locals and just sauced me and my friends. Like, we had no idea what was going on. He sat there and played some freaking Black Garden stunned volcanic mess, and oh Jesus, we were over here, we had no idea what was going on. We were losing to the weirdest stuff ever. So yeah, I'm just gonna get into it. That's for another video. I'm gonna read the entire effect of Black Garden because I never read this card's entire effect. So let's go ahead and read this. Hopefully I'll be able to get through it without screwing up. If your monster is normal or special summon, face up, except by the effect of Black Garden, half its attack. Then, the controller of that monster special summons 1 Rose token, Plant Dark level 2, attack 800, defense 800, to their opponent's side of the field in attack position. This attack loss remains even if this card leaves the field. See, I already messed it up. You can target 1 monster in your graveyard. So the first, what I just read, that is what this card is known for. It is known for halving the attack of monsters, and then bringing tokens out. Pretty much, if you spam the board, you are going to lose attack, and then your opponent's going to get tokens. It stops you from OTKing, essentially. It'll stop anyone from being able to pull off OTK. That's what it's known for. Here's the effect that always trips me out, because I completely forget that this card has this effect, and I was sauced by this so many freaking times by this guy. You can target 1 monster in your graveyard with attack equal to the total attack of all plant monsters on the field. Destroy this card and as many plant monsters on the field as possible. Then, if you do, destroy all of them. Special summon that targeted monster. That right there just kind of blows my mind. Like, it doesn't just say your side of the field. It just says all plant monsters on the field. So even when you're summoning things to give your opponent tokens, you can destroy those tokens to summon a monster from your graveyard. That is just that has always kind of tripped me out. to where why hasn't this card been broken more? Like I understand getting your attack halved is like kind of like wild, but like in like and I think there might have been like a link like a specific link spam deck maybe when summon sorceress was out that was able to abuse this. But even without that, like you would think that a card like this would be able to just should be limited to one or maybe even banned because it's like you could essentially you could essentially have your opponent summon monsters for you. It's kind of wild, but at the same time, it isn't like it's just so easy to pull off. You can't pull it off this first turn, and it's one on your opponent. So like I said, it's something that's always tripped me out, but at the same time, it also kind of like makes sense why it's not completely broken. But you never know. You never know with Yu-Gi-Oh. You never know what's gonna be good. You never know what mechanic, what deck, what archetype's gonna come out and use certain cards. And that's kind of why I do this series to kind of just bring light to these random cards like this, or even just cards like this to where like people use every day but are kind of like get tunnel vision and completely forget about these like random kind of side off effects that they have like Thunder King Ryo or Zeus. That's it, guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for sticking around. There's going to be more videos to come. Going to get back on my schedule. Going to be a little wonky this week. I'm probably going to try to get 3 videos out. Going to do this one today. Do a market watch ready for tomorrow, the next day. And after that, I'm going to have to figure it out because, like I said, you got a lot of stuff going on, New Year's and all that. Until then, that'll be it. And I'll see you guys in the next one.